Alright, we're back, baby! We got a boyfriend for our summer vacation. Let's go hang out, see what happens. It'll be great! The stars had magically aligned, and somehow everyone was free today, but it was more than just luck. You owed it all to Miranda's determination. Oh right, this is gonna be like the Baxter version of Hang. Gotcha. She set things up over several phone calls to find the perfect window to hit the beach. You couldn't wait to meet up with... You can still exclude him. Exclude him in his own... Oh, ouch. Oof. Alright, well... Coordinating schedules had been especially rough lately, but you didn't let that stop you from organizing your grand plan. You wanted your new friend, quotes, to be included in all the fun. After a bit of messaging with the others, you had brought up the possibility of adding Baxter to the mix. No one objected to your request, so you and Terry swiftly put his phone number to good use. Baxter had been flattered to be thought of that early in the planning stage. Funnily enough, he'd been the easiest one to account for, despite being far and away the newest guy on the block. Baxter was able to rearrange his schedule to whatever everyone else needed, and you and Terry relayed the remaining details to Cove and Miranda later. Your hopes were high. Almost everyone knew each other to varying degrees, but this would be Miranda and Baxter's first time meeting. And yet, you weren't that worried. Deep down, you had a pretty good feeling that they'd get along once they got to spend a little time together. That was where things stood. And, yeah, Baxter's coming by your room any minute now to meet up ahead of time. The prior evening, Baxter texted you for advice. He had been caught between his options. Should he come to you, or should he hang back and you'd come get him when your friends were ready? You eased his troubles by simply inviting him to your house. You thought it would be nice to hang out with him before the official hangout. Checking the clock, there was a small window to get ready before Baxter arrived. Despite it being well past morning, you were wearing your pajamas. Oh my god, it is me. You had known you didn't have anywhere to be until the beach trip and had a lazy start to the day, but still... I gotta put my swimsuit on. You knew it was clean and folded in one of your drawers. It was more of a question of which one. As you searched, you couldn't help your mind wandering. Your height had complicated your swimsuit shopping. Not many swimsuits were well-fitting on someone who's petite. Facts. And then, for the shape of your body... What is considered, like, slender and medium? I wasn't at my skinniest at 17, that's for sure. Not that this really matters. I don't know, we'll go medium just to be on the safe side, I suppose. And... I had a little muscle definition, a little bit. Your build was toned and firm, with muscles that were there, though slight in size. Staring down at yourself, your train of thought drifted until you were lost. I'm lost in my birth. I was assigned female, and I always felt sure about my gender. Being called her was right for you. As opposed to when you were younger, you... had developed breasts naturally as I got older. And... this one... Your boobs were a large part of your petite frame. This is true. I've always kind of wished they were smaller. But that's the only one that fits the best out of these options, I think. Yes. People had a lot of their identity wrapped up in their physical form. It shaped their self-image. I'm comfortable. Your body was you, and it was a good one that you felt content in. Alright, I'm back. It wasn't until a steady knock fell against the door that you snapped back into the present reality. Baxter was already here and you hadn't even changed yet! Swallowing thickly, you knew that you couldn't just ignore him. You pivoted towards the door. Am I still in my jams? Come in? The knob wiggled and then the door glided open. Baxter cordially stepped in, catching your eye with an already developed grin.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
I must tell you again how touched I am by your thoughtfulness. You didn't have to open your door to me and play host even before our scheduled plans. And, truthfully, I'm taking the fact that I'm allowed to be standing here as a fortunate sign. A neighbor at most would have been set aside in the living room if they were welcome into the home in the first place.
Yes, well. A warm blush rose under your skin while you struggled to form a response. His candidness flustered you completely. Hi. Hi. Smooth, Molly, smooth. Baxter nodded graciously and inched forward, letting his gaze curiously examine this new space. You noticed his posture relaxing the longer he was there.
Lovely.
I think you have a very pleasant room. The shade of green is nice.
Thanks. I like it a lot too. Baxter shifted his attention back to you directly. For a split second, his gaze flickered down to your outfit and his polite exterior
I
faltered.
apologize.
I have to wonder, did I perhaps arrive early? My mistake, truly.
Your knee-jerk confusion at that comment quickly melted away. His discretion over your pajamas was appreciated. Squint. Yeah, probably this one. Are you planning on still changing into a swimsuit, or are you going like that?
The latter.
Baxter answered with such ease that you honestly couldn't tell if he was joking or not.
While I am certainly looking forward to spending an afternoon on the beach with all of you, I will not be getting into the ocean.
There was more than a hint of insistence in his tone, and it was completely unexpected from the up-for-anything mouth of Baxter Ward. He carelessly ran his fingers through his hair and left it messier than usual. Oh, that would have got me. That would have got me right there. A note of worry rose in his tone.
And what if I get a sunburn? We're likely to spend multiple hours there. I'm not risking making the situation even worse by exposing my entire chest and my legs to the summer sun.
By this, Baxter meant his delicate pinky skin. He expressed that by holding his bare arms out towards you. Aw, my poor pale vampire boy. Have you ever been in the ocean?
I've been on boats, ones that have gone out far from the mainland.
That's not the same.
No, but that's the closest experience I have. I confess I haven't actually swum in the ocean, at any point or to any degree.
Really? Never.
Never.
That detail was hard to wrap your brain around. Your moms had been taking you to the beach since you were a toddler. He really wasn't gonna do it. He pouted over the loss. Here's the thing. I never liked when people peer pressured me into things that I was uncomfortable with, so I never joined in on peer pressuring other people. And I would just kind of ask, and then if you're comfy, I'd like to support you in this new experience. I'll be right there. But if you're just nah, I respect it. I think I would probably just ask this, are you sure? Because, I'm there, I'm willing to, help you with whatever you need. And then if he's no, I'd be alright, that's it. I'm imagining there's probably a way to do this that you can get him to try going into the ocean, but I don't know if my Molly would be enough of a bully to make him do it. So you can let me know in the comments. Can you get Baxter in the ocean? Can you get him into a swimsuit? For science. Ahem. Are you sure? I'd love to show you what the beach and sea are really like.
Oh.
Baxter laid a hand across his heart, and his brows bent. Oh, boy.
In that case...
That is an offer I wouldn't refuse. Ignore what I said previously, I'll certainly wear a swimsuit.
Well, damn, that was easy. Wow. Alright, never mind. I don't even have to know in the comments. We're getting back to our swimsuit. Let's go. The shine in his eyes matched the gleam in yours, and yet he remained firmly rooted in place. Baxter was clearly in no rush to leave. Chuckling, you were delighted that Baxter wanted to hang out with you just as much as you wanted with him. Unfortunately, neither of you could afford to dawdle much longer. It was time to get ready already. So, if you don't mind... Sorry, but we both should change. We're kind of cutting things close.
No need to apologize. I should have kept a better eye on the clock. I'll see you soon. I'll gladly go dress myself properly for the occasion.
I'll meet you outside in the front of the house.
Please, excuse me.
I swear if he just comes out in the same outfit, I'm gonna punch him in the arm. And on that note, Baxter sauntered out. Once the door was firmly shut, you raced around the room to get ready. I'm gonna wear my two-piece bikini. Hesitating by the door, you scanned the room one last time. You mentally ran through the list of things you might need later. I'm gonna grab my board shorts. That'll be good enough. With that settled, you were officially ready to leave and meet back up with Baxter. Stepping onto the street, you surmised that Baxter wasn't finished as fast as you. He wasn't there, but that absence didn't mean you were alone. Hey, you! Cove stood outside his house with his eyes glued to his phone. He tapped out a message just before spotting you.
Hey!
You crossed the street, returning his greeting with a gentle wave. Have you seen Baxter?
No.
Not yet.
The two of you peered at Baxter's condo, but there was no sign of him. Cove rubbed the back of his neck. Does he own a swimsuit? He's not gonna skinny dip in the ocean, I hope.
I just walked out, and then Terry texted me. Her and Miranda should be here pretty soon. They're mostly on schedule, I hope.
Cove's smile bent amusingly. He shrugged. I believe in them. Want to check on Baxter? Nodding, Cove double-checked his phone. Satisfied with what he saw, he slid it back into the pocket of his swim trunks. Cove's fairly neutral attitude on the topic of Baxter didn't escape your notice. He tended to get uncomfortable whenever Baxter surprised or flustered him, but since things were pre-planned, and for an event favorable to Cove, he didn't seem bothered. Cool, let's go.
Sure.
Okay.
The two of you walked unhurried up the street. You hopped up onto the doorstep and rang the bell. A few seconds passed, and you shifted your weight on your feet while you waited. But Baxter didn't answer. The pause extended until things reached the point where you felt awkward hovering in front of his shut-up home. You spun towards Cove, and he returned your nervous stare with a tight-lipped smile. At least you could take solace in the fact that the mild misery had company. There were only a couple options to pick from. You could either ring the doorbell again, or you could send him a text. You reached for your phone, but a sudden noise through the wood made you stop.
Oh, no.
Oh god, he's even hotter now. You know those cartoons where, like, the person's face, like, gets red from their shoulders and it just, like, levels up and crosses over their entire face till the whole thing's red? I felt like that sensation go across my entire body. Oh, I'm in so much trouble. Oy. I can do this. I can do this. It doesn't help that, like, the text is, like, right near his chest, and my eyes keep going there, like, ah. I'm just like, yo. Alright. I'm a professional. I can do this. Finally, the door cracked open, and Baxter peeked through. He then swung the door the rest of the way out to reveal another entry of his signature grayscale style. Baxter had unsurprisingly changed into a black and gray swimsuit. He paired the trunks with an unbuttoned white shirt, and the corners of your mouth curved in amusement to his dedication.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, long time no see.
Good afternoon. I can't thank you both enough for waiting.
Hey.
I mean, I do want to say, like, looking good, but my awkward ass. Hello again. Baxter leaned against the frame. Damn you. And his attention flittered between you and Cove. With a flick of your wrist, you added a wave.
The minutes we've been apart have been devastating.
You laughed, trying not to think too hard about what those words did to you. You get me, Molly. The atmosphere had become far more laid back. Cove was the one to move things forward.
So I was thinking, we could get settled at the beach now, and Terry and Miranda can catch up with us there.
I can do that.
I second that idea. While this neighborhood is charming, I think a change in scenery would be preferable.
You moved in the direction of the beach while Cove paused to shoot off a quick update. He made sure to let the others know exactly where to find you. I don't mind. He flashed a thumbs up as soon as the message was sent, and with that, the three of you strolled down the street. The path you walked was as natural as breathing for you and Cove. For Baxter, it was a brand new experience, though you might not have been able to tell. He walked straight on, with certainty in his steps that was on par with the locals. The ocean stretched as far as the eye could see. It was a perfect day, clear sky, rolling waves, and an inviting breeze coming across the water to combat the balmy heat. Cove threw his towel down and smoothed out the corners while you settled on a spot for your own things nearby. Baxter meanwhile hesitated, merely watching what you two had done. Before you could say anything, Baxter moved forward and picked a small stretch of beach close to yours for his own things. He meticulously laid his pure black towel out over the warm white sand. Black towel! Oh, that's gonna be hot! My dude, I would've gone for the white towel personally, but you do you. Turning away, you tried to hold back and hide your laughter. It was just so convenient that even here his black and white color scheme was inescapable. That's why we love him. Baxter stared right ahead, hypnotized by the moving water, and carefully lowered himself onto the towel. For you, your family, and your neighbors, the ocean was an old and well-loved friend. But witnessing the wonder dancing through Baxter's eyes reminded you just how vast and awe-inspiring the sight truly was when it was right in front of you. You glanced at Cove and realized that he was taken in by that side of Baxter as well. The beach was a special place for the people of Sunset Bird, and now it was working its magic on Baxter. Cove seemed flattered by the awe and unspoken approval written all over Baxter's face. The sea meant more to him than even the others living there. To appreciate it was to accept him. He hugged his knees to his chest.
So?
What did you want to do?
When you didn't answer, Baxter tore his focus away from the water. He was pleasantly surprised to find out that Cove had directed that question to him instead.
Oh, I've been running on the assumption that you all had something in mind. Whatever it is works for me.
We don't.
Nope, no ideas.
Honestly.
Then, truthfully, I'd prefer to stay as dry as possible. Taking a stroll, or simply remaining here where we are, enjoying the scenic view would make a perfect afternoon in my book. But my wants shouldn't interfere with yours. I won't stop anyone from having fun in the water. We're at the shore, and I'm not heartless.
Cove messily brushed his hair back and thought about Baxter's idea of a beach trip. His snicker rolled into a rumbling laugh.
I guess you're not gonna make much use of that swimsuit. It's already served me rather well, I think.
Damn you, you saw the blush, didn't you? Between the playful way Baxter's brow arched and his mouth crooked, Cove stopped laughing. He stared back stunned. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I mean, I do want to go swimming, but also a stroll sounds nice. What do I want to do here? I know I went swimming last time. Baxter wasn't in a swimsuit last time. I'm still curious if you can get him into the ocean, so I'm like, should I go, like, full-on swim? But also, a stroll sounds nice. Oh, choices. I got paralysis. Okay. You know what? For times like these, we can, make a save. Right here. Boop. There we go. And, let's see what happens when we pick the swimming option. We can come back to the stroll.
Sounds good.
Me too.
Cool. Stretching your arms high above your head, you felt the sunshine on your fingertips. Baxter never moved his eyes off of you.
I hope the water is exactly to your liking.
Cove kicked his heel, sending some grains of sand that had gotten on his towel sailing. He had done well starting the conversation, but now he was unsure of how to keep it going. Okay, so then Miranda and Terry come. Well then, how about the stroll? Oh, did I not go back enough? There we go. A stroll sounds nice. You stretched your legs in anticipation of hopping up soon.
Really? That's wonderful.
Don't be too surprised. This beach is one of my favorite places to walk and explore.
Wanna look for a new shell?
Always. It's been a while since I set out to find one on purpose. The last few I stumbled on. We still do our shell collection. Cove laughed, remembering fondly. In the water or not, the beach truly was something special for him and for you.
Ah, we'll have to be light on our feet then. Luckily, that's something I quite excel at.
Okay, so there we go. Luckily, it didn't take long until you heard shouts. You turned your head to see both Miranda and Terry running straight for you. Miranda was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed in her wake, laughing with her towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Miranda started making her jumps more theatric and more precarious as she got closer. Cove waved them on with a bright grin. Hooray! Woo! The two officially arrived at your little group setup, looking completely ready for an ocean adventure. They were already in their swimwear and were raring to go. Awkwardly, Cove pointed in Baxter's direction. He remembered that Miranda hadn't actually seen him before.
That's Baxter.
The strange young man's presence nearby suddenly made a lot more sense to her. Miranda shyly waved with a cheerful smile.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Of course.
Likewise.
Baxter offered her a handshake, and Miranda grew confused at his formal gesture, checking the reactions of her friends on if she was the weird one for thinking this was weird. That only made his smile widen.
I can assure you that I'm harmless.
You knew Miranda well enough to recognize the worry she was trying to hide behind a more collected front. It was easy to imagine that she might have felt somewhat intimidated. Baxter had an air of maturity about himself, while Miranda was a little bit childish and shy in comparison. Hesitantly, she clasped his hand and gave him a proper shake. Thanks for meeting us here today.
My pleasure.
Baxter placed his other hand gently on the back of hers while he spoke. They both let go, and Terry sprung forward.
Hey, buddies.
Hello, hello! She teasingly punched Baxter's upper arm.
Nice to see you too.
Terry had already made her dramatic introduction to him at the start of summer, so she was excited to skip right to the good part, hanging out. The Bee-Man is actually here! I can't believe how long it took for everyone to get together.
Hi, Cove and Molly, too.
Hey,
Catch us up! Did we miss anything important? No, I don't think so. It had come up that Baxter was basically your boyfriend already. Okay, fine. So that wasn't anything you needed to announce again, even though it was the biggest event of your summer so far. Yeah, you know what? We'll tease. Other than Baxter appearing in the neighborhood, it's been totally normal. That's probably a good thing. We might not be so lucky with the next big thing that comes our way. Terry crossed her arms and nodded sagely. Baxter tugged at the collar of his shirt.
Really? My presence is the only earth-shattering big news being whispered about.
I mean...
It's not that big. Everything is just... even smaller.
Not a lot happens besides some new people and longer wait times at the touristy places in town.
Ah, well, hopefully I'm a welcome change of pace during my stay here.
Absolutely! Terry then started talking about her morning and how she'd almost overslept since she had stayed up too late last night. She bounced on her feet as she spoke. But don't worry about me being tired today. You know I ran on less back during school. Miranda filled in the group about her morning. Apparently everything had gone smoothly. She'd met up with Terry on the way here and you knew the rest. Cove offered a suggestion to the gang.
Hey, let's walk while we catch up.
Okay. Oh, yeah, definitely.
You felt pleased that Cove remembered what you wanted to do. Sometimes he could be thoughtful like that. Sweet Cove. Once everyone's stuff was settled on the beach, the group strolled over to the shoreline. The wet sand was cool under your feet. A wave rushed up and covered your ankles in water. You flinched from the suddenness of it, but by the next wave you were acclimated. You took another step forward and sank a little into the ground. Behind you, your footprints were soon smoothed by the waves. Your friends chatted as you all walked together, though Baxter remained at a distance to stay dry. Really, won't even get your feet wet. You took turns pointing out cool shells or pieces of sea glass. It was a relaxing jaunt. Hours passed and the group had moved between different activities, some low-key and some more exhaustive. For you, it was break time. Baxter agreed. You sat on your towel, sipping at some water, and he rested on his. Your friends were hard at work burying Terry's full body under a pile. Miranda used her arms to force up sand around Terry's sides. Cove worked on covering Terry's feet. You took another drink and glanced over at Baxter. He was staring at the water, but there was an entirely different feeling radiating from him. Rather than pure awe, there was a level of discomfort marring Baxter's expression. You wondered what was bothering him. Suddenly, he turned towards you as if he could feel your curiosity prodding at him. He surprised you with a kind smile.
There is a reason why I've never gone in the ocean before.
Baxter let that hang there and absent-mindedly brushed some sand off his thigh. He hadn't elaborated earlier, and you weren't quite sure if he was going to now. Quickly, it became clear that he was carefully choosing his words. The last thing you wanted was to push him.
Well,
Well, the idea of being fully immersed in the ocean is a bit frightening. It seems endlessly deep and unpredictable, with powerful waves and rapid currents. And there are creatures lurking in there. Some of them are larger than me. It's unfathomable. You don't play with something like that.
it's...
If I enter that water, I'll never return from it. The ocean will swallow me whole. That's what I think.
His smile strained under the weight of his growing nervousness. Baxter had always carried himself so calmly. This genuine vulnerability left you speechless. And then you heard Miranda screech. Your attention immediately switched over to your friends. You registered that Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. The walls Miranda had been meticulously building collapsed into a wet heap of sand. She surveyed the damage critically.
We're gonna have to start over on that part. Do you want to give up on this now?
No way! The burial must continue! I'll try not to move anymore.
Okay. If you're sure, I'll try to fix this.
Miranda started to rebury her and Terry shot her a thumbs up. She realized too late that moving her arm was a bad idea. More of the sand on her crumbled and Miranda put her head in her hands.
Don't worry about it.
I've got that part.
Miranda nodded at him with appreciation. They got back to work, redoubling their efforts to pile sand over the limbs of their friend. Baxter caught your eye and you both snickered at the interruption. As it grew quiet again, you offered Baxter some words. could offer. I did say, like, I always offer. If he says no, it's a no. Would you want to try going in just a little? I'll be there with you. Baxter's near-perpetual smile flattened into a thin line. He swallowed visibly. I'm not saying you should go for a swim. You could get your feet wet, feel the waves brush against your toes. He ruminated on your suggestion for several seconds. Gradually, you caught the upturned twist of his lips.
It's doable.
Nice. Okay, hey, baby steps.
Well, I suppose I could manage that.
Then, let's go.
Let's.
He's like, ah! The two of you got up and approached the ocean's edge. As soon as the water rushed forward and tickled his skin, the air got caught in his throat and Baxter froze in place. Here. His lip twitched, and then Baxter immediately latched onto you. Moving closer, you tried not to splash him. You knew this was a huge moment for Baxter, and you were willing to give him all the time he needed. Gradually, he was able to release a calming breath. He squeezed you and offered a tentative smile. You gave him a reassuring squeeze back. Aw, my heart! It's so cute! Baxter inched further until the water crept up on his calf. Wow, I didn't think you would actually get that far. He watched the water swirling around him as it moved with the tide, and then, surprisingly, he chuckled at the sensation.
You know, this is rather nice.
Yeah.
But
But this is as far as I go. I'm positive on that point.
Fair enough. That's okay. Right here is perfect. I'm just glad this wasn't too bad for you.
As am I.
Baxter stayed there and viewed the waves not from a distance, but from within their embrace. I'm honestly impressed. I thought for sure, like, just the toes, you know, like that would be a big thing anyway. Went up to calves. That's pretty cool. His nerves ebbed until you two were relaxed in that bubble of each other's company. At least by your side, he could enjoy the feeling of the ocean from a safe level. Yay! Oh, yeah. Yay! Resembling the Kool-Aid Man, she kicked herself out of the ground with gusto. Sand went flying in all directions and a Terry-shaped imprint was left behind. Miranda yelled again and Cove chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. The suddenness of the incident startled you and Baxter enough to let go of each other's hands. You didn't get to join in on burying Terry, but you didn't mind. The one-on-one time you did get with Baxter was something you wouldn't have missed. Facts. You waved cheerily to your friends, and the five of you regrouped about halfway between the towels and the destroyed tomb. Man, I'm ready to wash this off! Terry looked down at herself and laughed. She tried brushing the wet, mushy sand off, but most of it stubbornly clung on. She only succeeded in moving around where it was on her. Let's finally jump in!
So great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The two of them eagerly turned their attention to the rest of the gang for your input. Baxter folded his arms across his chest.
Oh, don't worry about me. It was never my intention to swim. Please don't let that stop your fun.
He echoed the same statement he'd made to you earlier that day. Wait, what?
well,
It's simply not my preference.
Terry squinted and thoroughly scrutinized him. She wasn't satisfied with his answer. I think I get it. You're new here. You don't know what to do in the great wide sea. Just hold on to my back and I'll take you out into the water with me.
While I greatly appreciate the gesture, I must decline. I've experienced as much of the salt water as I want to already.
Are you sure? I can totally handle it. I'm a lifeguard in training.
Terry, I thought you hadn't signed up yet.
Shh, I will, and that's what counts?
thank you.
Yes.
Aww, but it's just so sad to leave you out. You know, me and Cove only became friends in the first place because we're beach people. You can be a beach man too, B-man. Her crestfallen gaze slid to Cove. He nodded understandingly. Surprisingly, Baxter chuckled.
I get it.
I understand where you're coming from. and I'm sorry for any upset I might have caused. But please, trust me on this one. I'm perfectly fine. I may not be much of a seafaring man, but I have gone swimming before. Pools and lakes are no trouble to me.
There you go. I feel so special that he, like, came with us into the into the ocean, considering he's like, nah, I'm good. He shared, like, he's scared of it. He was willing to go with us. I feel very, very special.
In fact, I would guess I've done certain water-based activities that some of you might be too nervous to try.
Cove's lips pursed. He raised his chin and stared, not so much threatened by Baxter's accusation, but insulted he would even make such a challenge.
Seriously?
Like what? I surf. I have a dad whose entire business is about water-based activities. I went on a jet ski when I was 8. What could you have done?
He notably didn't mention the results of his young jet skiing adventure, and Baxter didn't show any hint of doubt about Cove's accomplishments. Baxter straightforwardly answered the question instead.
Skinny dipping.
Cove's jaw dropped. That suggestion left him scandalized, and the reddest you'd ever seen him.
That doesn't count!
So,
You haven't done it then. You might want to, especially since you already enjoy the water. It is rather liberating.
Baxter was making an honest recommendation. You could tell it wasn't his intention to come across mocking Cove's lack of experience there. However, Cove was still completely thrown. That suggestion of Baxter's was even worse than implying he was more confident in the water than Cove. The silent beat was broken by Miranda's embarrassed attempt to stifle her giggles with the palm of her hand. Her cheeks had grown flushed, and you knew it would be a while until she was confident enough to even dare to make eye contact with Baxter again. Terry, meanwhile, gave Baxter an impressed nod and then instantly lost all composure. She fell into a boisterous fit of laughter, holding tightly onto her own stomach. I know I did TMI the first time. I'd be a mixture of, like, amused and nervous. I'm curious. Yeah, you know what? I'd be amused. I would be. I think I'd be more amused than anything. Face-palming, you shook your head in an attempt to be disapproving, but the moment you peeked at Baxter, there was no stopping the wide grin stretching ear to ear. Of course, he'd been skinny dipping. And of course, he was dropping that fact without hesitation in front of 4 people he hardly knew.
is that fine?
Did I say something wrong?
The playful note in his voice told you everything you needed to know. Baxter was fully aware and enjoying the bit of chaos he unleashed on the group. You exhaled deeply and did not comment. No one else added anything on the topic of Baxter's skinny dipping adventures either. Bad boy. It was back to the drawing board on what to do next. After a while, the gang mutually decided it would be best to go do something that was not water-based. The 5 of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Miranda managed to find the biggest, while you found the most colorful. Cove caught a tiny crab. You did a bit of everything. There were impromptu games, to just soaking up each other's company. However, after a while, you all had run out of water. Drinkable water, anyway. It was decided that you'd head to Cove's house or yours. Things were gathered, and you started to cheerfully walk up the road. What next?
I don't have anywhere to go, so it could be whatever.
Yeah?
Same. I guess we can keep hanging out.
Terry snorted and readjusted her grip on her things. Doesn't sound too sure there, Cove. By this point, you could see your house. It hadn't taken you long to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? She looked from face to face in inspection. Cove and Miranda shrugged in concert. Baxter didn't react. No one was overtly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving. It wasn't quite a mealtime.
We could get dessert.
Miranda put a finger to her lip in thought. With a smile, her voice became more confident.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Terry considered it and then shot Miranda a thumbs up.
Sure.
Sounds great to me.
I can definitely go for that.
I'm fine with that if everyone else wants to. When the topic of dessert was raised, Baxter hummed with interest. This caught everyone's attention, as nothing else had drawn a comment from him in a while.
What do you think?
If that is the next event, would we be willing to try ice cream and similar frozen treats? I like the sound of that.
Why?
Baxter shook his head ruefully.
Truthfully, the one thing I have wanted to do while I am here is to see an ice cream truck in person. My hometown doesn't have one, and neither is there one around my campus. It is a summer tradition that I have missed.
You and Cove stared at him blank-faced. Miranda pressed her lips together and shot a glance at Terry. Her expression was like a stone.
That was a dramatic drop in mood. Am I being gauchely touristy right now?
He was entirely off in the guess. Baxter could only watch helplessly as the people around him remained unusually sober. Cove voiced the consensus of the locals.
I've never been to an ice cream truck either.
What?
Are you serious?
Miranda nodded her head, and Baxter's composure shifted into incredulity.
Me neither.
Nope.
Same. When Baxter turned his head to you, you had nothing to offer. Sorry. There isn't an ice cream truck in Sunset Bird.
That's...
We have an ice cream stand on the shopping street. It's not exactly the same, but that's how it is.
Oh, and sometimes we got ice cream at the park during big events. That was from a cardboard box, though. Still not a truck. I've only gone to ice cream parlors and got ice cream from the freezer part of grocery stores.
Me too.
Uh-huh. But sometimes my family makes it homemade.
Baxter grinned, for once on the same ground as his new companions.
I've normally only eaten it at restaurants after a meal. I never realized that ice cream trucks were so rare.
Unexpectedly, Cove was the first to agree with Baxter. He narrowed his eyes and spoke firmly.
Then, yeah, let's find a truck. I've got to do it at least one time.
Yeah.
Baxter's onto something. We've all been missing out. Terry raised a fist into the air in a dramatic pose. There has to be an ice cream truck somewhere in California. Okay. Baxter brightened more, seeing his suggestion receive support. Miranda smiled at him. You could only guess at her first impression of Baxter, but given how she had relaxed around him, you imagined he was growing on her. He wasn't as exceedingly self-assured as he came across at first blush, but it was nicer when Baxter was confident.
Let's do it.
That sounds fun. Let's look it up.
Miranda reached into her bag and dug around for her phone. She pulled out a hair scrunchie, a small notepad with unicorns, and a bundle of chunky keychains. Her phone remained elusive.
Just give me a sec.
The rest of the group's mouths pulled into tentative, hopeful grins. There was an air of slight disbelief. Cove mulled it over while tapping his foot.
Wherever it is, we're gonna have to drive to get there.
I think so. None are in town, right? And everywhere else is far away.
She finally retrieved her phone and started to search on her Maps app. She tapped her screen with a frown.
I'm not sure.
It's already late afternoon, too. I wonder if ice cream trucks are even still going around.
We have to believe. It's too soon to give up. Cove nodded, patting at his pockets. They were tellingly empty.
I'll get my keys.
It's doable.
No need. Allow me. I asked to do this. It's only fair that I be the one to cover transportation. Besides, it's a rental. We may as well make the most of it while I have it. All right.
Cove raised his shoulders in a bewildered shrug. Baxter ran his fingers through his hair to swipe his bangs, and they fell exactly back into place after.
I will return in only a moment.
Terry shot him a thumbs up, and Miranda mumbled absent-mindedly, focused on her task. Baxter flipped towards his condo and headed off, his strides long and determined.
Oh.
Cove raised his voice at Baxter's back.
We'll put our stuff away while you're off doing that.
Baxter peered over his shoulder and answered.
Good.
Good.
Baxter was soon out of sight, and Cove had gathered up all his things into a sturdy hold. He gestured with his chin to his house.
We can use my place for storage.
You were on board with that. You shifted your things around so they'd be more comfortable to move. Thanks, Cove. You appreciated his offer for the simple truth that his dad would care way less about the mess than your mom's. Cove led the group to file into the Holden household. Miranda brought up the rear, stumbling behind Harry. She was being led by the arm while still keeping her eyes on her phone. Sandy towels were dropped in a heap on the living room, one after the other. No one wasted even a second with organization, taking cues from Cove's rush.
I need a minute. Gonna grab a shirt.
He darted down the hall, his steps loud on the hard floor. Oh. Yeah, I'll go get my own shirt. I'll be right back.
No problem.
You bounded out the door and straight across the street. Then, careful to not track too much debris into your house, you dashed to your room at a breakneck pace. You threw on the shirt and rejoined the others. They were already standing outside Cove's house again. Baxter's shiny black vehicle idled on the street nearby. Cove went for a seat in the back without consideration. He was not going to be in the front.
But you would.
With you going to the passenger seat, Miranda and Terry followed Cove.